What if I told you that the thing that you're desperately chasing, success, views, subscribers, money, fame, isn't actually what you want? I know, it may be shocking to hear this, but stick with me and I might be able to save you years of creative frustration, an existential YouTube crisis, and the burning urge to just throw your camera in the bin. Alright, so I've been at this YouTube gig for over 15 years, vidIQ half of that time. And weirdly, I was emailed by myself recently to inform us that the vidIQ channel now has 2,000 video uploads. Now I've been here basically since the doors to the channel opened, so I'm probably responsible for 60 to 70% of those videos. When I started, we had 1,000 subscribers from a single video ad. So I've seen it all. The highs, the lows, the millions of subscribers, the hundreds of millions of views. When I started, I never imagined any of that would be possible. So to say this has been a success would be a complete understatement. But does that mean I'm happy? Well, yes and no. I am incredibly happy and thankful that I get to do this for a living. And I'm also incredibly proud of the positive impact and influence we've had on countless creators. But in the past year, I felt burnt out, creatively bankrupt, a feeling of constantly being on the YouTube hamster wheel, churning out video after video after video, and feeling a little bit meh about each one. To be clear, I love what I do, but at the moment I'm not happy with how I'm doing it, which means that I'm starting to forget why I do it. So this year is going to be different. I'm going to create less and learn more, and this is why. Now then, if you are relatively new to this YouTube journey, I know what's running through your head. Once I get 1,000 subscribers, I'll be happy. Once I get monetized, I'll feel like a proper creator. And once I get one of those silver play buttons, I'll finally be respected. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Actually, I quite enjoy it. None of these things will make you feel the way you think you will feel. I want you to do me a quick favor. In the comments below, share a small win you've had on your YouTube channel in the last week. It doesn't have to be a big achievement, the smaller the better. It doesn't have to be about numbers. Maybe you've learned a new skill. And don't overthink it. The first thing that comes into your head, just type it down. Every single successful creator who's made it will tell you pretty much exactly the same thing. You never feel like you've made it. You just keep moving the goalposts. If you're starting out, you probably think that your happiness on YouTube revolves around more views, more likes, more comments, and of course, monetization, right? Well, no, I'm afraid not. Even if you do get to enjoy that viral moment, and it will happen on your channel, you'll then face an entirely new problem. What if I can't replicate that success? This is one of the most common events that completely screws with creators' minds. Trying to repeat unrealistic and unsustainable success because one video raised the benchmark of your entire expectations. You see, the problem isn't the goal. It's believing that reaching the goal will change the way you feel. It won't. Not permanently anyway. Progress is addictive. And when there are so many numbers on YouTube, it can be a constant dopamine hit. The moment, and I do mean the moment, you hit 1,000 views on your first video, you feel unstoppable. If this is how good I feel now, imagine when I hit 10,000 views. But then, surprise, surprise, you hit 10,000 views and you have another short feeling of euphoria before you start eyeing up the next big milestone, 100,000 views, 1,000,000 views. It is pretty much endless. It turns out happiness doesn't come from achieving. It comes from pursuing. This is why some of the happiest people on the planet who don't appear to have very much always have a project on the go, or are pursuing a dream, or they have a ridiculous challenge they've set themselves. And it's also why, in contrast, some of the wealthiest people appear to be the most miserable, burnout and cynical. And that's when you witness envy from the have-nots. How can they be so miserable when they seem to have everything? Well, it turns out the one thing they don't have, or they've lost, is the one thing that everybody can have or find if they just change their mindset. If you've ever played a video game, you'll probably get this. If you start out with an OP character that just kills everything in sight with one swing of a sword and completes every task without any challenge whatsoever, you'll be bored within a couple of hours. The fun of a video game isn't having the best weapons or the best items or knowing where to go and what to do. It's in beating that really difficult enemy that rewards you with the best weapons. It's figuring out all of those really hard clues to find the best items. And it's traveling into the unknown, unveiling the world as you explore. But I do get the irony here. If there's a boss that you can't beat, or an item you can't find, or a puzzle you can't solve, where do you go? I'm not even going to bother saying it. Let me give you a quick recent example. I'm playing a video game right now called Cult of the Lamb, which sounds weird, and it is, but it is thoroughly enjoyable. But I am smashing through it, and I'll probably complete it in a couple of days, at which point I'll say to myself, that was fun. I wish I was still playing it. We all know that video games have natural endpoints, right? So what about when it comes to YouTube? What people try and do is convert YouTube success into the end game. But really the fun and the self-fulfillment comes from playing YouTube. The experimenting, the learning, the occasional disaster where your carefully planned video completely flops and you start to wonder if you should become a goat farmer instead. And yes, there's a video game for that.
I hate goat!
Once you realise that YouTube has no end game, unless you decide to quit, then you can start to live and flourish within the journey and enjoy it. If you really want to be happy as a YouTube creator or, you know, a human being, then stop obsessing over the destination and start enjoying the process. In my opinion, the first 6 months of your YouTube journey shouldn't involve any numbers whatsoever. It should be about pressing record and pressing publish until you've figured out whether or not you love doing YouTube. So enjoy learning how to edit better. Enjoy figuring out what type of content makes people actually want to watch it. Enjoy the awkwardness of talking to a camera in an empty room feeling like a complete lunatic. Enjoy the failures. Yes, even the ones that make you want to curl up into a ball and cry. They're teaching you more than success ever will. And enjoy the wins, especially the tiny ones. They make this journey worthwhile. So, as a reminder, go back to the comment you wrote a few minutes ago. That's what YouTube's all about. And since you are in the comments right now, you know what would be really helpful to the entire vidI crew community? It's to thumbs up somebody else's comment, to reply to their quick win and give them some motivation, some inspiration. I'll be making sure I do that when the video first goes out. This is the reality of this creative thing that we're all immersing ourselves in. There is no magical point somewhere in the future where you'll suddenly feel complete. There is simply just now and how much you enjoy doing in the moment. And what you can do when you finish this moment is reflect on what's come already. Pull up any video you made 6 months ago and you'll most likely cringe. But what you'll also feel is a sense of progress. And you may even remind yourself that at that time, 6 months ago, you thought this was the greatest video ever, your best piece of work. Well, it turns out that wasn't true, was it? So go off and make your next video. It won't be perfect. It probably won't even be great. But you will be one step. It might be a tiny step, but one step to getting better. And that's all that ever matters.